COVID quarantine.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Matt Quick once again, come from HireMilitary, and I'm joined today by a good friend and partner in what we do for service members, a Soldier for Life, Adam Martinez. Now, just so you know, he's home like we all are. He's got his kids at home like some of us do. I'm not sure how he's teaching them at this point, but hey, if you hear noise in the background, lighting goes off, kids fly by, that's just part of being live on LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff. So just got to deal with it. Before we go to Adam, I just want to really thank you. We started doing this daily LinkedIn Live and HireMilitary Live with last week. And I'll tell you, the 16 of you that joined us to watch it, it's amazing. So thank you. So if we can get more people to watch us, no, we have so far there's tens of thousands of people that watch this. So I think the stories that veterans and transition military are telling are resonating to people. And I'm getting requests all the time to hopefully do more. Listen, I'm doing one a day. I might do two a day, but I might have to bring on Adam to run some interviews here pretty soon. So, hey, Adam, take it away, man. How you doing?
Matt, always a pleasure, man. And it's been long overdue that I actually get to do this. I'm not one for social media, as a lot of folks can tell. With my limited posting and stuff like that, but I knew it was time to make that change. So I decided to reach out and say, hey, it's my turn.
I'm glad.
On here. And yeah. So just wanted to get on and share my story, and hopefully it resonates with at least one person, right? Because that's all I need to do is reach.
That's all that matters, man. Just a one person
to get some buy-in to see how this kind of to how we can help reshape some of the transition, how it helps, and maybe we can help at least one person out. So
we will. So when did you transition, and how did it go for you personally?
So first, I'll just go with my backstory first, and then we can move into the transition story. Yeah. So I'm a tanker by trade, right? So armor. I did that for 20 years. Obviously with the PCSs and stuff like that, started my career in Texas. Then you moved over from there. I was a recruiter down in Florida. So I did the recruiting bit. And then after that, went to Germany, from Germany down to Knox to Benning. And then I had an opportunity from Benning to move to DC to kick off a program for the Army called Soldier for Life. And with that opportunity,
wait! You kicked the program off, so all this is you're doing, good or bad?
Yeah.
All right, let's go with good then.
Yeah, let's go with the good. Yeah. So I was the Northeast deputy, and I was in charge of the 15 states of the Northeast. I took everything from Michigan over to Maine and down south to Maryland. So I was in charge of those 15 states with my lieutenant colonel. We ran all through those 15 states and kind of scooped up all those resources for the transitioning service member and their families and brought it back to the Army. So how we get an armor guy to come to DC to talk to all those CEOs, CFOs, whoever in the C-suites, and bring all that information back so we can give it back to the Army so they can relate it back to the service member and their family.
So you're a tanker by trade, and you did recruiting, and they said, you know what, you look the part. Let's bring you to DC to kick off the Soldier for Life. Awesome.
Yeah, it helps when your sergeant major was the guy who kicks it off is your sergeant major from Benning.
That's networking, though.
Yeah, that's networking, and that's part of this whole, when it goes back to the networking, how you use it from the military, how it transcribes when you leave the military. So one of those tools that you can reference to civilian life. So that helps, and then from there. In the middle of my whole career, 2 stints in Iraq, so you get to play in the sandbox for 2 years as well. So, I come back, and then my wife says, I'm doing really well, and my career is taken off. And then she tells me, if I start getting promoted, what do you think? And I said, well, if you get promoted one more time, I'll retire. Well, so 30 days later, she sends me a letter, and I'm like, crap. Okay.
Oh, bluff called.
Bluff got me. So we decided to hang it up, and then my transition journey started that day. So, um, taking all the tools I learned from Soldier for Life and trying to apply it. So I knew I had exactly 2 years. But actually, I started well within my Soldier for Life, beginnings
Okay.
of how this is all going to shape. But I still didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. Right?
That happens.
I'm an armor guy.
And there's not many. There's not very many armor units or anything in the civilian world, right?
So I always tell people when I open up, when I speak to them, when I talk to businesses and corporations, it's like there's only so many tanks you can park at a bank.
Yeah, true. Good point.
So, and then when you go to ONET and you mark in 19 Zulu, heavy machinery comes up or security, and those two things just don't fly with me. So
yeah,
heed the warnings, people, when you use ONET. You got to use other skill sets inside your career that might be beneficial. So that's what I did. You use your additional skill identifiers, you use your secondary skill identifiers, and you go out that. So you build a nice resume based off of your past experiences, and that's what I did. Plus, I networked my butt off, and I took a fellowship. Right, so I was a corporate fellow.
Okay.
Using the Chamber of Commerce's program, and I actually was a fellow for them.
Oh, nice.
So I did that, and then they brought me on to be inside their business and development program, and did that for my last 6 months, and it was great. Learned it was all basically all the same companies that I was working with at Soldier for Life, just adding some more, but really defining the relationships and seeing how the chamber, the chamber business side of it, how does that work with them, rather than what we do in the Army side. So it was really getting that civilian touch to it. And then after the program was done, the Chamber of Commerce actually came up to me and said, "Hey, we really love what you do, and we want to bring you on full time." So they offered me a full-time position as being their corporate fellowship program manager for East Coast operations. So I took the position right out of the Army to run East Coast operations for the CFP program. So I did that for a year. And understanding the program, how it worked, I just felt like there was probably some missing stuff. After understanding how it worked, I felt like there was more that I needed to do for me. Because when you understand yourself and you start defining who you are as a service member when you transition, there are some holes inside your own transition plan that you want filled, and sometimes the first job right out of the service isn't filling those voids. So
yeah,
I was approached right after that from a friend, and she took me on and said, "Hey, can you help me work on a project in New York?" And at a company called Logistics, and I pretty much wooed me out of the chamber. So I took that job out of the chamber. So again, a strong network, and I got wooed out of the chamber's job, and I went and worked for as a Logistics director of talent programs. So I was helping companies kind of develop their own strategies for their military talent programs up in New York City with the Bob Woodward Foundation.
And you had all the experience by working in the chamber, Soldier for Life, so you had the experience.
Right. So it was kind of trying to figure out what was the need for the strategies for the Bob Woodward Foundation's portfolio companies inside the VALS companies, Veterans on Wall Street. So that was a great experience inside New York City's portfolio companies. That was great. And then we did that for a year. And then things kind of dried up, and then I saw that coming. So then, power of the network, I reached out to a sergeant major, a friend of mine who's here in Fort Belvoir, where I currently am, and I said, maybe the military community as a full-time employment isn't the calling, right? Because I like doing it, but then I like doing it as more of like passion.
Like a passionate hobby.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like working, and I like people. So those are like I'm starting to kind of do these checks and balances with myself, pros and cons, right? Starting to write this list down. And a great mentor of mine said, you got to write down the list of things that you like to do in the workplace.
Okay.
Right? What do you like to do at work? So I love being like customer related service, right? What is your main concept? So I love being around people. I like being at work, because my last job, I was at home. I was teleworking every day.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, right? So, but good thing I'm going in tomorrow. So,
oh, good.
Yeah.
A break.
Yeah. So I was kind of checking off this list of the pros and cons, right? And then I noticed that I was like, man, I'm unhappy. And I started like resenting my own house. Like I was like, ugh, so dreadful. So then I found this other opportunity with a sergeant major friend of mine, and she was like, you know what, you're a perfect fit for being a program manager. It's customer service related. You've got to meet people. It's more of a science and technology thing, but as you learn the technology, everything else is exactly what you get as a first sergeant.
You still work with people and you motivate people.
Right. It's getting the scientists to keep doing what they're doing, but you're the background, right? You're just keeping them doing what they're doing. So
keep them focused.
Keep them focused, right? So that's what I do currently as a PM here on Fort Belvoir, down at the night vision labs on Fort Belvoir. So
okay,
I've been doing that since. So literally 3 jobs in 2 years post retirement.
And would you say that you're unsuccessful or successful in your transition because you had so many jobs?
I would say I was successful because the fact that I kept my foot on the pedal and I did not let it break me.
And some people think that it's a negative thing to go through jobs when you get out. You may not find the perfect job when you first get out.
Right.
It may take you some time and some networking and people to get you straight. Even if you begin 2 years out, just knowing the environment you're going to be in and where you want to go, it could be a daunting task. So
and at the same time, too, right, and you're exactly right. But at the same time, what you have to understand too is you want to keep those conversations going with other folks too. So all the applications still went out throughout this process.
Yeah.
And I always had a mindset of be kind and communicate with everyone. So even if a recruiter would contact me and said, hey, Adam, are you still interested in this position? That's still, that goes in my black book of someone of interest.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't know how long this is going to go. I'm a defense contractor, right?
Yeah.
As a defense contractor, we run off of contracts and we don't know how long this is going to go. So what you do is you keep building out these networks of folks who know your value. So if the contract runs out, you can go back and say, hey, I understand that you were interested in me at this point in time, but this contract went out. Here's still my skill sets. Do you still have any availabilities?
So and that's if you haven't ghosted them, right?
Right. This is right. If you did not ghost them, right. And this is the issue that I see with a lot of service members today is when, and me and you, and I've seen this in posts earlier, as a matter of fact, earlier today, and even some yesterday, where we're reaching out and we're getting ghosted, where veterans and service members are telling us that they want opportunities, they want the next best thing, and these are our qualifications. And then here we are, well, here's the opportunities, and we get no feedback.
Sometimes we're our own worst enemies when it comes to that stuff.
Right. I mean, we have 4,000 in the queue in HireMilitary alone, and yet I can't get, I can't get service members to respond to simple emails of, if you have a background in software development, and you do, and you can't even respond to an email. All I need is a no, and I can scratch you off the list.
Yeah, and just so everyone's aware, so Adam Martinez is an account manager with us in HireMilitary. He's been around for since 18 months now. So from the beginning, you've been around, and you do that out of passion. So when you reach out to a potential candidate, hopefully the candidate reads the job description, and if they tell you no, there's never hard feelings. We know that not every opportunity is your opportunity. But just say yes or no, or give me a week to think about it, and we'll follow up. It's that simple.
That's it. Yeah.
I like that.
It's really that simple. It's not everybody.
No, it's not.
It's not everybody. But we have 4,000 in the queue, right? And they all register. So they at some point in time,
they were active at some point.
Registration process. There was a point in time when they said I was interested.
But maybe they don't check their email, or they don't check their LinkedIn message, or they don't check their text messages. Yeah. We get that. Life gets busy. or spam, But trust us, if Adam reaches out to you, Adam or anyone in HireMilitary reaches out to you, it might be a good opportunity for you just to say, "Hey, let me make a phone call."
Well, here's
It's a
my face.
go, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm
There's
telling
your
you,
face. He's on
if
screen,
I send
and
you an email and I'm looking for software developers in the DC, Virginia area, please
I'm sure
report.
there's a few. And
Yeah,
if you're not on HireMilitary yet, and if you're a software developer in the DC area, register with HireMilitary, and as soon as you register
yeah.
and upload your document,
Oh,
look at the opportunity. They're there, and then express interest. Reach out to Adam Martinez. He will say, "Here's the interview for you. Pass the interview."
as a
Now, if you
matter of
don't pass
fact,
the interview, go ahead.
my software developers are remote opportunities. So,
Okay, so you tell me, software developers remote. Are there
well,
any clearances involved?
well, yeah.
But they
You need
normally
to,
have clearances leaving the military. They're software developers. Hey,
yeah,
a lot of missed opportunities. So we do this to really to highlight the point that we're here for you, but if you're not here for yourself, we can't help you out. We want to believe us. We want to. Let us help you. But hey, help us help you. Right? That whole saying.
right. Okay, so I want to switch gears real quick.
All right. Hey, we're switching. Go ahead.
All right, so employers,
Uh-oh. Real talk.
yeah, employers, I got a beef. All right,
Be gentle, right?
okay,
If
I won't.
Chris
I'll be
Thorne calls
gentle.
me, text me, I'm gonna get yelled at.
All right, so I've been doing this for a hot minute, right?
Okay.
And I got approached, not approached, but I had a conversation about military spouses. And if I got to hear one more time that our military spouses aren't hireable because of their length, uh, their time on duty station, I think I'm going to reach through a computer, or reach through a phone, and choke somebody.
What is
Yeah,
the average time of an employer or employee at a job, and you're saying a spouse won't be there for 3 years?
yeah.
I don't get that at all.
So I'm going to have to address this as simple as I can.
Okay.
So if an employer did their due diligence, and this speaks to everybody, and they went to the Department of Labor's statistics page, and they looked up what is the tenure of what's the national tenure for an employee,
Mm-hmm.
they will know that it's 3 to 4 years.
So that
Okay.
aligns, right?
So if they knew that, they will know that they have not only a spouse problem, but they have an employee problem. So address it as a whole and not just blame spouses. Okay, go after time. Go after the person's training and not time. The person's ability to do the work now rather than later, because you're missing out on a population that can service the greater good um, right now, and we're missing
And
out
the
on
things that come up with, I'll tell you, their ingenuity, what they do on a daily basis for their nation, supporting their spouses. Listen,
yeah,
I drove with my spouse all over the country, and the meal she would cook in a hotel room, microwave, she'd make it all happen. Aside
yeah,
from that, she'd get out there and do physical fitness with us. They're so resilient and they're so valuable. Give them an opportunity, and they'll be surprised. You may not see them on the market very much because they're all employed, and you work remotely. They can all pretty much do it.
right. It's just about opportunity, right?
Yeah.
I know everybody's got this new, everybody's pushing out spouse programs and stuff like that. I mean, but at the same time, there's a lot of individual employers that are out there that are hesitant um, because they're afraid they're going to lose them based off of these ridiculous, uh,
Dreams they have or
yeah,
notions.
yeah.
You're
They're
not
just
going to keep an
coming
employee
up with
forever.
what I call excuses of why they're not hiring, right? And it's a wrong thing when you're looking at the statistical data that doesn't mirror up, right? So
So
that's
employers look at not just transition veterans, but military spouses as well, because this whole population, it's a small population, it really is, but they do so much for the nation and they sacrifice so much. That's not why you hire them, though. You hire them because they can bring so much value to an organization. Just that, hey, give them an opportunity, take a look at them.
Right, exactly. So that's all I wanted to hit on with the employers and with the spouses, because I mean that's just a missed market. I mean, it's just an opportunity.
And Chris Dorn, if he was too blunt, please call Adam, not me, but we'll have a conversation.
What we call it it's a heat round to the chest in tanker talk.
All right.
So, all right. Designate back to the veterans. And
hey, so your transition went well. You think it was successful. It was in your opinion.
Yeah.
So what kind of programs did you use that you would, I guess, recommend to service members use throughout their transition?
Sure. So obviously not every transition service member's blueprint is going to be the same, right? It all depends on, your situation. So I used, personally, I had the CFP was the only program at the time. I retired in 2016, so it was the only program that existed.
Okay.
For an internship opportunity. So I used the CFP. I used O2O. So
onward opportunity.
Yep, I used them. And I didn't need American Corporate Partners or Veterati at the time, but I knew of them and I researched them for mentorship because I had a slew of mentors that were
apparently,
stuff at me. So, but I highly recommend a mentor. Every chance I get to talk to service members and spouses, I highly recommend using a mentor. And the reason why, an HR person in the Army is not, and I say again, an HR person in the Army is not the same as an HR individual in the civilian side.
Well, that's some good information right there.
I'm telling you. I'm telling the service members that are on this, if they're watching, an HR person, human resources, S1s, G1s, awesome ones, J1s, you are not the same.
It's a big world.
It's
there's so much involved with civilian HR. It could be talent acquisition, training and development. But go ahead.
I get it. Now listen, I get it. Your human resources in the Army, you've got your master's degree, you've got your MBA, and you've got your SHRM certificate. That is a fantastic heads up, but you don't have the experience inside the HR talent acquisition that you're going to try to be part of. You have to be developed inside that HR office.
And what's the fastest way to get developed on your way out?
So you're going to have to be an intern or an OJT. So got to find a way to where somebody's going to have to bring you in and start from the not totally in the bottom. And I'm trying to work with veterans all the time. And I was this close about getting a couple of my HR folks into some director spots and some other HR spots into getting them in. But some things fell through. But listen, it's hard. Some of those HR folks that are trying to transition into direct, relatable roles, it's tough. It does not equate. You're going to need a lot more training because you're going to need the actual firsthand experience inside the HR roles. You can have all the education and certifications that you can, but I'm getting this directly from the employers that I talk to.
So let's say we have a
and let me clarify real quick, Matt. I'm only speaking off of the employers I speak to. All the employers that I'm looking at that I talk to that are looking for HR individuals, and they look at these resumes and they look at, and they're all telling me the G1s, the J1s, and the S1s, and with the degrees and the SHRM certificates and whatever other certifications you get, that's a great head start. The degree and the certification is a fantastic head start. But it doesn't give you the experience needed because the work is completely different.
So let's say you have a young I guess, service member looking to get out after 6 or 10 years in HR, just strictly HR in the military, whether it's Marine Corps, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, or Army. What jobs could translate for them doing this right now into what roles in the civilian world?
Say that one more time.
So if you're a S1 G1 kind of person, 10 years experience, and you're transitioning out, what roles in the civilian world could you jump right into immediately?
So that's a great question, and I would say it's an HR generalist.
Okay, that makes sense.
But you have to find a role, and you have to be in a company big enough that has those positions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So you would have to find somebody. Now, they'll say, okay, as an HR generalist, that you're starting as a recruiter. And as a recruiter, you're bouncing from the recruiter to an HR manager, from HR manager, HR director, then you're running the whole thing. So there's a ladder to climb. But inside the HR, there's people who understand payroll, budgets, all the other stuff that
benefits, training, development, all that.
Training and development, right? But some small companies, that's all one person. So you just can't jump into that saying, I know all that stuff. Well, no, not necessarily. You don't have the experience in budget, payroll, and benefits.
And they're looking for experts too.
In the Army, you don't, as an S1, that's not what you did. You managed all you did was track, who was on MedPros.
Or do the awards or evaluations. And it's so much more than that in the civilian world. So what I'm saying is really look at the internships to kickstart your military transition or civilian careers, because 4 months of an internship, that's going to weigh heavily. Even if the company doesn't hire you, you're going to have that experience that you need to go apply somewhere else.
Right. And it's our job to try to find the companies that are going to be the best fit for them as far as gaining that experience, especially with HR. And I know we have a lot of them, and we have a lot of service members that are craving HR, and it's tough. It's a tough market.
And we have some tankers, as a matter of fact, or infantry getting out and wanting to get into HR, getting their PHRs, APHRs from Armored Opportunity, and they think they can just get into it. And networking will help you out, but you have to have the experience, and you gain that through an internship, fellowship, on-job training. Yeah. That's how you gain that experience.
Yeah, and I think the best thing, so and I would encourage everyone to go out and either register as get on those SHRM sites and be a member and ask the questions, get on ACP, get on Veterati, ask those questions to those bigger companies that have the HR programs, and then talk to those folks that are in HR and ask those hard questions about what it is about inside the human resources as a whole, where I best fit in. Because you never know. You can talk about HR all throughout your career. You may divert. Right?
I tell you, I went
training and development.
So I spent 25 years in the military as HR. So I went from an HR generalist. I went to executive staff on different levels, and then I worked strictly retention, which is talent acquisition in the military for the last 15 years. And in my mind, a small piece of my mind says, when I get out, I'm going to easily go into a director role to lead people. But I didn't understand the basics of what it took to recruit civilians into positions or work with HR managers and work out all these benefits, even the offer letters. When I got a job with a small company that wanted to grow. I was hired on to hopefully improve their systems and help them grow. I oversaw recruiting, and I want to dive in and check it out. So I would send out offer letters, and I'll tell you, even the clearances were something that I didn't know about, how to transfer them, which ones, whether JPAS, whether DOD, DOS, Department of State. There's so many variables. So I use American Corporate Partners, ACP. They linked me up with a great HR guy that really helped me out understand the civilian world. And he says, listen, there's so much in HR. And he directed me towards a position of people and culture where I thought I wanted to do training and development. So he had me in people and culture, and he goes, "This is what I do." I'm thinking, okay, now I see the light. So get on ACP, get on Onward to Opportunity, use the programs as you transition, and like Adam says, get the experience. You're gonna need that.
No, I totally agree. Totally agree.
I'm gonna look through the comments, see if we have any questions. But you keep on talking because people seem to like you a lot, Adam.
Probably because it's blunt force trauma.
Yeah, that's what we're getting right now. Yeah, it's kind of bloody right now.
Oh, is there any of my friends probably telling me I need to shave or?
No, not shaving, but maybe the COVID haircut looks good. Looks good.
Oh,
it does.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Chris Thorne's watching, and Chris Thorne is one of those. He's so good at HR. I don't like talking about it because he's so good at it. So yeah. I try to shy away. But Adam, hey, have at it with him, right?
No, I think that a lot of tools that are needed for some of our. So, what I like to explain to some of our transitioning service members. The building blocks of your own transition starts with one, either puzzle piece, Lego block, however you want to describe yourself. Mm-hmm. And then you have to kind of mentally get prepared and as early as possible, try to figure out one is your location, right? You got to figure out where you want to go, right? Because economically, you got to figure out how much money do I need to survive?
True. That's an important one.
Right. And then from that point on, you have to kind of dictate what tools or resources are available either nationwide, remotely, or locally that I can use to help benefit me throughout my transition. And then from that point, at the same time, you're still trying to figure out your VA benefits, your DOD benefits, all your appointments, and then what do I want to do when I grow up, right? And a lot of our combat arms, which is probably 80+% of the force, are still trying to determine how do I get past the security guard, truck driver kind of mindset where I know I'm beneficial doing something else.
Right. And those guys may want HR jobs too, so.
Yeah, I want to do HR. I want to get into logistics. I want to get into program management. And that's another big thing, right? So, or consulting. I love that one.
Which one is it?
Consulting.
Consulting or project management?
No, consulting is my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, consulting is my favorite. Because you can be a very successful project manager as long as project management's like the big thing around here. A lot of guys are a lot of headhunters are out here hunting them down in Virginia and DC because of the PMP and stuff. And I would encourage people to go look at the Vets to PM. They take the GI Bill and the VA benefits, stuff like that. If you're looking at a more inexpensive way to get your PMP, if O2O, I know offers for free, but it's 6 months, and that thing is.
It can be a beast, huh?
Yeah. But if you need it in a week and you don't mind using GI Bill benefits.
Hey, invest in yourself, right?
And you can invest in yourself and go Vets to PM, and there you go. You just got to do it that way. But PMP is highly sought after for project managers. So you can go that route.
No, it is. Consulting. Go ahead. Let's hear your spiel.
It's just my opinion.
Those are not expressed by Adam or not really the HireMilitary at all, right?
There's my disclaimer of saying you're
unemployed.
Okay. It's just a fancy word to say you're unemployed.
But there is money to be made with the consulting, and I'm sure Adam Martinez he'll probably share a consulting post with you pretty soon about how you can leverage consulting to be a career, right?
Yeah, sure.
We don't unemployed people out there.
A way later down the road after you're like 50, 60 years old.
Hey, so yeah, when you have the experience necessary, right? So HR consulting.
Exactly.
Hey,
Consulting.
so
Go ahead.
hey, so what else about transition in your mind? I know it was what 4 years ago for you.
Yeah.
What kind of roadblocks did you run into that you may see now not so bad? Are you retired? So did
Yeah.
you take the SBP? If so, why? If not, why not?
I did take it.
Okay.
And at the time, it's because, and quite honestly, it was the reason why I took it is because I was an SFL. I retired out of the office, and right next to my cubicle was the retirement services office.
Okay.
And being next to the chief of retirement services and the SVP director, and you get all the knowledge you can. And then, listen, I
You
checked.
didn't feel pressure, did you?
No, I just checked the block. It's quite honest. I didn't do any research on life insurances. I just went and just, yeah, let's do it. I'm not
It,
gonna be. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. There was no.
so no thought process behind it at all. You just took it because the military said, you know what, we offer it. I'm
Yeah.
going to take it. You're a good soldier.
Me and my wife, we did discuss it, and we looked at the amounts, and we looked at the kids, and we said, "Hey, it's here. Something could happen tomorrow. Like there it is." I mean, we didn't even go into
And it's all based on what your personal preferences are, but you don't seem like you like taking it though. What's going on there?
No, I just didn't know because I didn't think about it, right? Like after the process was done, and then and then you start, then it's like buyers.
Second guessing yourself.
Yeah, you go back and then everybody's having these conversations about term, and you're like, what? What? What do you mean term?
What is that all about?
What's Mike talking about on his post?
Yeah, but this is why it's so important to have
like,
a mentor.
No, yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, mentorship is so important because when I was about to sign my SBP, my mentor called me and it was like minutes away. I was to sign off on it because that's what we do. We're soldiers and they offered it to us.
Right.
Mentor said, "You're not in bad shape. You're not old. I'm not as old as I thought I was, but you're not old. You don't need it." So I said, "Well, what do I do? I have no idea." He goes, "Check this out." So he referred me to a specialist with term life insurance, and it made sense for us. Not for everybody, but it made sense for me. And my wife and I are much happier. We're spending less money. And if I don't die within 30 years, I outlived it, like 98% of people.
Yeah.
And if I live 30 more years, I'll be happy.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it was just a matter of trying to, I don't know. It was at the moment, and we talked about it for I think it was probably the least prioritized like point in our retirement. Like we knew it was there, so we didn't really flex on it because the priority was for us was where are we going to live, where's the opportunity for employment going to be, because we need to make sure that the kids are going to be okay and you're going to have a steady paycheck coming.
And your story is so typical because that is one of the least things people talk about. That's why I bring it up.
Yeah.
I bring it up a lot because people just need to hear about it. Whether they choose it or not, I don't really care because I have mine, whatever I chose. But I want people just to be exposed to the other opportunities out there.
Sure.
That's all we do. So that's why I bring it up.
It gets you to think after the fact too. You're just sitting there going, "Man, actually, you have to really think about it, and you should start thinking about it a lot sooner than waiting until you're actually sitting with your RSO and making that decision that you have to sign for it." So,
I felt pressure to get mine because it was an Army thing, and I'm a soldier, so that's what we did, though.
Right. Which is the point of starting early. You got to start earlier, right? You start marking all these things down on your to-do list and on your checklist, and that's why it's so pivotal that service members for the retirees.
Yep.
That these are mark it up on your list as far as a priority to do these things and to do your research and go ahead and evaluate both of them on a side-by-side comparison to make sure that you're doing your biggest bang for your buck for your family. And don't just check the block at the end of the day at your final checkout when it comes to sitting down with your RSO and making that final signature. Because even though you can opt out, a year later, or not a year later, but like I guess there's a second opt out, and that's it. But you want to make the best call for you and the family at the right time. So.
That makes sense. I tell you, there's not a lot of questions coming through the feed, but people love how detailed you're coming with your answers, and it looks like there'll be a Adam Martinez fan club pretty soon. So if I can join that with you, I'll get a membership card, and we'll join that.
No, I think I have been doing this for a little bit. So I mean, like I said, I owe you, and I owe myself an opportunity to come in and do this live thing.
And these are good though, and I'll be on every day, every weekday. I just saved the weekend for my wife, and family. I just picked up golf for the first time ever, so that was terrible for me. But I'll be on here live every day for the next at least 6 weeks. I think we're booked 6 weeks out. But if people cancel, because some people do cancel because there is some fear about coming on live and talking about things, I've got a list of backup plans. So if I reach out within an hour, we might be going live. So I might reach out to Victor Corderjo pretty soon and Jason Willett. You guys might be coming on. I don't want to do it by myself. I don't want to do this myself. I want a companion. I want a buddy here with me.
No, I think these are good because I like the fact that I get to share my story, and like I said, I hope it just resonates with one. That way, they can take the time and put pencil to paper, or pen to paper what they need to do to really be successful for their transition. Like I said, not every transition is the same, but if we give them enough tools for their toolkit, they can come up with their own success.
They'll make the best decision. And Ronnie Colon, he's commenting a lot, so he might be coming on pretty soon too to share his experiences. Hey, the more we do it, the better off we're all going to be, because for every year there's 235,000 people that transition each year.
That's right.
And if we can just touch a little bit of those, a small percentage, it's a win. If we can teach all of them, it's huge.
Yeah. Right. And I got we're going to flip again.
Let's flip.
Okay. Other organizations. I'm not going to name names.
Why not?
Matt just hit a point. 235,000. And I've been doing this for a hot minute. And I can tell you, we're all in this ball game to do what's best for the service member and their family. And if you don't put their intentions first, then you're in the wrong game.
Yeah.
So I highly encourage that all the bickering and all the other stuff, and get out of your silo, and we all work together for the common good, so that way we can get all the service members and military spouses taken care of. Because too many times we see too many programs out there that are doing great things, but at the same time there's a bad apple or two that either will take advantage of a service member or leave them in the dark, and that can't happen. Our job as the military community, as a part of the resource community, is to provide a service and to keep the doors open.
Yep.
And we can't do that if there's so much animosity towards each other.
Collaboration, work together.
So I just leave that with, I just wanted to put that out because I see it too much. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2013, and there's a lot going on. And I just hope that we can all just come to agreements that, as long as we put the service member and their family out there first, that it doesn't matter what the resource is, as long as the service member and the family is taken care of, then that's all that matters. All
right. Someone said Adam 2020. So a few people already said they're going to commit to politics after this. So if you want to commit, do it now. If not, hold your peace. Yeah. But Michael Russo, Bravo 181 Armor says, Bulldog 7.
Michael Commander.
See, you got a fan club now, and I'll tell you, if we can be part of this fan club. Hey, but if I was transitioning today and all these programs are out there, personally, I'd sign up for all of them. I wouldn't ghost any of them. They'd come to me. They'd fight up for my services. So they'd give me the best opportunities. I would say, I want that. Go with the best one for you and your family. Sign up for all of them. And when HireMilitary gets you that opportunity, go with them. That's what I would do. I'm not biased, though.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Do them all.
No, do them all.
You do them all until you get picked up. That's why I tell every service member, I don't care who you pick up. You put your name in everything that says free. If it says free, you're putting your name on everything.
And it's funny because free is so HireMilitary is staffed, founded, and run by all veterans and a military spouse. Right. So we've all been there. We know what the transition is. Either we've experienced it firsthand or secondhand we've experienced. So we have a lot of empathy we go with to bring to service members. So if you text me at midnight, listen, there's an opportunity. I'm going to respond back to you, whether it's a LinkedIn message. I don't work 9 to 5. I work for you. And just like everybody on the HireMilitary team, we work for you. So if you have my number, and I've posted it a few times now, I'm not going to post it on here, but text me. LinkedIn message. The wife's like, what are you doing? I'm answering questions from Hawaii, from Korea, all over the world. Yeah. I love it.
Germany, Yeah, I've had plenty of conversations with service members all across the country, and it's always just trying to figure themselves out. I think that's the joy that I get is trying to get them to get on the straight and narrow, just to try to get them on path. That's it. Once you get them on path, man, then you let them doors just go. Just go.
I'll tell you, when they get a internship locked down and they get a follow-on job, that is so awesome. I don't care about them. For me personally, that's an awesome feeling. Now for them and their family, sure, it's good too, but it feels really good to be able to help people out, to assist them on their journeys. And that's all we do.
Sure.
All right, Adam, you've got to go print your fan club cards out. I'm going to go do some other stuff now. So it's been a great almost 50 minutes with you. And I'm going to bring some more people on this week, next week, the following week. And, hey, let's have some more conversations about real talk. And if Adam wants to come back on with blunt force trauma, that's cool too.
That's going to be the new title of the show. Matt Quick, blunt force trauma.
Hey, if you want to leave with any last words, Adam, hey, the floor is yours.
No, I just, it's all for them. I've been through it already, and, it's tough. It's going to be tough, but you got to keep your foot on the gas pedal. You can connect with me on LinkedIn if you have any questions, concerns. I can try to help as best I can because that's what we're here for. I can offer as much guidance as I can. But like I said, what me and Matt already expressed, take advantage of every single resource that's available to you. And whatever picks you up. But do not put all your eggs in one basket. But I'm here to help.
Good deal. Well, hey, thank you, Adam. We'll be on tomorrow again at 2 p.m. East Coast time. I think that's probably 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'm not good at math. So, hey, we'll see you all then. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks.